Hey, welcome everybody. You are joining our 1979 Mets replay. This is game 45 versus the St. Louis Cardinals. And on the mound for St. Louis, it's going to be Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes was 4-3 with a 6.18 ERA, 13 games and 11 games started. And he will be facing Mike Scott. Mike Scott was 1-3 with a 5.33 ERA, 18 games and 9 games started. Let's go over the Mets batting order. It's going to be Joe Youngblood leading off, playing right field. Frank Taveras batting second, shortstop Lee Mazzilli, batting third, center field Richie Hebner, third base, batting cleanup John Stearns in the fifth spot, catcher Willie Montanez in the sixth spot, first base Henderson, batting seventh, left field Doug Flynn, second base, batting eighth, and Mike Scott, the pitcher. The offense for the Cards is Gary Templeton at short. Leading off, Lou Brock batting second, left field. Keith Hernandez, first baseman, batting third. Ted Simmons, the catcher, batting fourth. George Hendrick, right field, batting fifth. Tony Scott, batting sixth, center fielder. Ken Reitz, third baseman, batting seventh. Ken Oberkfell, second baseman, batting eighth. And Bob Sykes in the ninth spot. Defense for the Cards to start off the game. Lou Brock in left, Tony Scott in center. George Hendrick in right. Then we have Reitz, Templeton is short, Oberkfell at second, and Hernandez. You have behind the plate is Simmons, and the pitcher's Bob Sykes. We're ready to roll. Let's get started. Try to make this game quick. It's about 12:30 a.m. And it's ballpark. What is that? 94. That's going to be in play off Joe Youngblood. Youngblood 53. And that's going to be an out. Grounded to third. Reitz throws him out. One down. Taveras, right-handed hitting shortstop, steps in the box. That's tough 38. A tough 38 is going to be a strikeout. Taveras down on strikes, goes after that high heat. Lee Mazzilli now, batting from the right side, is a switch hitter. And that's wheelhouse, 90. And that's a grounded to short. Templeton fires the first, side retired. Mike Scott after half an inning, no score. Templeton's going to be leading it off. Here's the pitch from Scott. And that's for ballpark 85. That's going to be in play. And in play 44 is outrange. Popped up. Right side, Flynn, one down. Lou Brock, no score in the bottom of the first. In play, 63. It's grounded to Taveras. 6-3 put out, 2 out. Keith Hernandez, the co-MVP for 1979. Tough, 15. It's a strikeout. Hernandez goes after the curve. That retires the side. We go to the top of the second. We're moving and grooving here. And tough pitch, 77. And he lifts that to center. Scott is there. Puts it away. One down. Johnny Stearns. Catcher for the Mets, a right-handed batter. He bats 241 versus righties and 249 versus lefties. That's for wheelhouse, 57. It's going to be outrange. Fly ball, right field. Hendrick makes the catch, 2 down. And 74, that's going to be Montanez showing his patience. But skies one to center, and that'll be out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Mets in the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second now here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Been to St. Louis a few times, primarily at the airport. And that's a 4 ballpark, 73, so we're looking at it in play. That's a 91, in play 91. That's way in the outrange. And that's lined and caught by the shortstop Taveras. He snags it. And it's Georgie Hendricks now. George Hendricks at 9 home runs against righties, batted 280. That's Snakehouse. Wheelhouse 35. Wheelhouse 35 is going to be a... And that's pulled down the line into the corner. Steve Henderson after it. And Hendrick in with a 1-out double. Hendrick is on its second base now. I'm going to double check that. 35. Yep. So Hendrick has, let's see, pretty good speed, good base runner. And it's Tony Scott. Tony Scott's a switch hitter, batting from the left side versus the right-hander Mike Scott. And that's a tough 82. And that's popped up. Doug Flynn calls for it. And that's 2 out. Hendrick goes back to second. Here's the pitch to Kenny Reitz. In play 59. And that's lifted to right. Youngblood. And that's the end of 2.5. Actually, the end of 2. We go to the top of the third now. No score. Stevie Henderson leading it off. Versus the lefty Bob Sykes. That's a 7. That's patient 57. A patient 57 is going to be a base hit single for Steve Henderson versus lefties. So he batted 395 versus lefties. So he's got plenty of hits versus left-handers. He's a left-hand killer, this guy. Now he may run. Let's see what he's at a 4. He had 13 stolen bases. So we roll a 4 and he goes, and we do not. So he does not. And it's going to be Dougie Flynn. And that's a 7. That's patient 98. That's going to be way in the out range. That's going to be a fly lifted to Lou Brock, 40-year-old Lou Brock in left field. This, I believe, is his last year in baseball. Pitcher Scott is a B bunter. He's going to bunt, and he pops it up to the catcher. So he fails to move the runner over. And now it's Joe Youngblood. And that's an 11. That's ballpark. 92. That's in play. And we'll get another roll out of that. And that's a 0-5. But in play 0-5 is going to be a double, and that's going to score Henderson. All runner scores. It's a opposite field shot. So that's a shot to Hendricks in the gap. And Scott and Hendricks after it. And into second is Youngblood. Around third is Henderson. He'll score, and the Mets are up 1-0. So it's a 2-out RBI double by Joel Youngblood. Clutch. Frankie Taveras. Mets are up 1-0. Patient 47. And that's right outside the hit range. Impatient. It's going to be popped up. Left side. Templeton. Side retired. After 2.5, Mets are up by a score of 1-0. I'm awake now. Played the last game I played, I was half asleep. Tough 72. That's Sky to center field. Lee Mazzilli. Oberkfeld is retired. Bob Sykes. Sykes is a 3 pitcher hitting card. In play 35. That's an out. Grounded to first base. Willie Montanez is going to flip to Scott covering. 2 down. Now that doesn't come up very much. So I just kind of turn a first base grounder into a 3-1. They should, I may design a more consistent way of doing that. That's a ball that's in play 39. Versus Scott is popped up right side. Montanez makes the catch. Side is retired. We go to top of the 4th. That's Lee Mazzilli. In play 90. Grounded to short. 6-3. 1 down. Hebner. Patient 25, that's a walk. Hebner is on base. And it's John Stearns. Hebner's not a threat to steal. This is going to be wheelhouse. We're going to have to roll this. A wheelhouse 60. And that's fly to right field. 2 away. Hendrick is there. And Willie Montanez. And that's ballpark 23. Gonna have to roll that. Ballpark 23 is gonna be wheelhouse. For a lefty, it's 1/63, so it's gonna be wheelhouse versus a lefty. 1/11 is a home run, and it's a 35. That's gonna be a single. So runner advances 2 bases. 2-out single, and Hebner hustles over to third. So Montanez on at first, Hebner's on at third, 2 out. And the batter is going to be Steve Henderson. Steve Henderson batted almost 400, 395 versus lefties. So he's the guy you want up right now. Opportunity for the Mets to score another run. It's a tough 21. A tough 21 is a strikeout. High heat gets Henderson to retire the side. Mets leave 2, and after 3.5, it's 1-0 Mets. And it's Lou Brock. The Mets are going to play Atlanta next in the next 3-game series. This is the 3rd game of a 3-game series. The Mets have, I believe, won 2 in a row. So if they win today, they take the series from the Cardinals. And that's Snake Eyes wheelhouse 34. And that's going to be a base hit for Lou Brock into right field. Youngblood gets it in. Now Brock is a threat to steal. To 5 he goes. We just rolled a 5, so a C3. Let's take a look at what that is all about. A C3. C3 is normal, so we're going to pull a card, see what normal does. Normal is out, so Stearns guns him down. Caught stealing. He's out. And it's going to be, with a lefty batting, it's going to be the shortstop covering 2-6. And I'll tell you that Brock was thrown out 12 times. All right, so there's 1 out, Keith Hernandez. And that's 5, patient 68. That's going to be a single. Line to right. Hernandez also could go. He's a 3 to go, and we just rolled a 4, so he does not go. Keith Hernandez takes his lead with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Ted Simmons batted .288 versus righties. That's 11. That's defense. A 51. A defense 51. We're going to see what that is. Error second base. Flynn is a 4. So we're going to look at a 4, and that's goes up to 19. We rolled a 51. So that's going to be an out. Now it could be a double play out. So let's see. An out. It's going to be a grounded double play if Flynn is an A range and he's a C range, so it's not going to be a double play. It's going to be a fielder's choice. 4-6 fielder's choice, and it's going to be Ted Simmons on at first. Ted Simmons not a threat to steal, had no stolen bases, and it's George Hendrick. Hendrick has decent power versus righties that hit 9 home runs. Here's the pitch that's tough, 74. And that's skied center field. Mazzilli there for out number 3. Top of the 5th. Bob Sykes on the mound for the Cards. Left-hander was 4-3 with a 6.18 ERA. Got a pitcher's do. Patient 44. And against a lefty, that's going to be an out range. Grounded at third. Reitz fires the first. 1 down. So Doug Flynn is out. Here's the pitcher, Scott. Scott is a 1. So that's a 6 tough 63. Tough 63 is a strikeout. 2 down. And Joel Youngblood. Youngblood's 1 for 2. And that's a 72. That's going to be out no matter what. Grounded at first. Keith Hernandez takes it himself. That retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Mike Scott climbs the mound. Tony Scott steps in the box. Here's the pitch, and it's wheelhouse 25 versus a righty. That's going to be a line shot into right center. Mazzilli gets it in quickly. Scott is a threat to steal. Scott had 37 stolen bases, so a 6 will do it, and that's a 6. So he's a C3. That's going to be normal like before. We're going to see what happens. Here he goes. And a normal is safe, so Scott steals second. Tying run is at second base now with that stolen base. And Kenny reads. And that's an 8 tough 78. That's a fly ball center field. One down. Scott goes back to second. Ken Obergefell, the lefty. Defense 0-7, so that's going to be an out, an error no matter what. Yep, a 0-7 is going to be an error. We're going to just find out what kind of error. It's an error on Flynn at second base. And it's going to be a one-base error, so he boots it. Flynn took his eye off the ball. It hit off the heel of his glove, rolled away. Everybody's safe. Scott stops at third. So it's an E4. And that's going to put runners on the corners. So Tony Scott at third base with one out, and Ken Obergefell at first. Now Obergefell not a threat to steal. He had 4 stolen bases. We'll roll for him. You never know. He's a B actually. Oh, and he goes. There goes Obergefell. We rolled the 3. All right, so let's see what happens here. He rolled the 3, and he's a B3. And that's going to put him in the very good range. Oh, we're not rolling. We're just pulling a card. Very good. And he's safe. So Obergefell steals second. So the cards showing up their wheels, showing off their wheels here. And it's Bob Sykes. Second and third, Bob Sykes. He's a 3 pitcher batting, and he's going to bat. Let's see what happens. One out. Second and third. Mets are up 1-0. That's a 9. That's patient. A patient 42. It's going to be in the out range. It's going to be a grounded at third. Tony Scott, the infield, I didn't mention if it was playing in or back, so I have to decide that. Do I want to let the time run score? Yeah, I want to keep it from being a big inning here. Still early. So we're going to play the infield back. We're going to basically trade the run for an out here to avoid a bigger problem. Still too early to play the infield in, bottom of the 5th. So let's see what happens. Tony Scott is a 7, so he's going to score, I believe, on that grounder. Let me double check. Now, this is something that I hate to do, especially during the game. All right, ground out. No runner on first base, batter is out for a runner on... Oh, wait, actually, yeah. Okay. Runner on second may advance to third if third is overrun. If the ball is hit the second base or third base, runner on third with a run rating of 7 or more scores. All others runners hold. If runner on first base complete this all right. So this is with a grounded a third. Okay. So the runner is 7 or more is hit to second base or first base. Runner on third with run rating of 7 or more scores. All others hold. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hold them. So it's going to be 5-3 put out. I know everybody holds, so there's 2 outs now. And it's Gary Templeton. Templeton's a switch hitter batting from the left side. Here's the pitch. That's a 7. In play, 98. And that's going to get Scott out of the inning. It's a fly ball lifted to left. Henderson towards the line, makes the catch. Side retired. So the Cards failed to capitalize on a 2-out, a 2-on, and only one out, and they failed to capitalize. I'll be over there in 5 minutes. Okay. All right. I'll be over there in 5 minutes. And that's going to be a tough pitch 42. And that's going to be a ball that's lined into the corner, and Brock after it. Taveras hustling around first into second. Here's the throw, and he's safe under the tag for a double. Leadoff double for Frankie Taveras. So here's a potential insurance run for the Mets. Lee Mazzilli, pitch from Sykes. That's in play, 0-5. And that ball is ripped down the corner. And now it's going to be Lou Brock again. And that rattles around out there. Round to scores. Taveras, the Mets lead it 2-0. And into second with a RBI double is Lee Mazzilli. So back-to-back doubles puts the Mets up 2-0 here very, very quickly. And it's Richie Hebner. Now there's action in the Cardinals bullpen. And that's a 4. That's Wheelhouse 25 against a lefty. Wheelhouse 25, and that ball is lined into left field. And runner on second is going to have a question mark whether he's going to score or not. Now Mazzilli, let's take a look at this. Mazzilli is a 6 running, and I think Brock is a 7 arm, and he is. So we're talking about basically 7 or less will give him a chance, because then we'll have to look at another board. 6 or less, he scores for sure. So let's try to score Mazzilli on this. Let's roll the dice here. Oh, he's out at the plate. Great throw by Brock. Man. And now we're going to roll 1, 2, 3. Hebner, actually, Hebner's a 5. So we're going to do 1, 2. Hebner goes to second on the throw home. And 3, 4, 5. He's back. He goes back to first. And 6, he's thrown out at second. That's a 4, so he goes back to first. Does not advance on the throw home. So it's going to be a single. We're going to write that in, single. And then the runner trying for home is going to be out. Tagged out. It's going to be 7-2. And Richie Hebner's on at first. Okay. So there's 1 out now. And Hebner's on at first, and it's John Stearns. Here's the pitch from Sykes. And that's a 7, patient 85. That's going to be a ground to short. A 7 is going to be double play on the pitcher's card, double play on the batter's card. So it's a 6, Templeton to Oberkfell to Hernandez. Double play. Cards get out of the inning. Limit the damage to only 1 run. Could have been worse. And now we're going to the bottom of the 6th. And that's patient 71 against a righty. And that's lined and caught by the shortstop, Taveras. Keith Hernandez now. Patient 36. It's a base on balls. So Taveras, Hernandez is on with a walk. 1 out. Ted Simmons. There's action in the Met bullpen, 9. Patient 10. Patient 10 is going to be a base on balls. So back-to-back walks, and here comes Joe Torre. He's going to have a talk with Mike Scott. Mike Scott at this point is 24 years old. Will become a heck of a ball player in the near future. But at this point, he's pretty green. So we have first and second. It's 2-0 Mets here in the bottom of the 6th. Keith Hernandez is on at second. Ted Simmons is on at first. And there's 1 out. It's George Hendrick, the batter. And here's the pitch, Mike Scott. And that's a 5. That's patient 99. And that's going to be popped up. Hebner going back, Henderson coming in foul ground, and Hebner makes the catch. Richie Hebner with a nice catch in the corner. Foul territory by the seats. And everybody's going to hold up on that. So now there's 2 outs. 2 outs and Tony Scott. Tony Scott batted .248 versus lefties and .266 versus righties. And we're looking at a 6-4 game with first and second, Tony Scott. And then Ken Reitz. And Reitz batted .318 versus lefties, .236 versus righties. Okay. So we're going to leave Scott in there for one more batter. Let's see what happens. Oh boy, wheelhouse, 38. That's not good. It's going to be a base hit single. Runner on second is going to score. They're waving Keith Hernandez home. And hustling to third is Ted Simmons. So it's a 2-1 ball game now, and that's going to be all for Mike Scott. They're going to bring in a right-hander now to. It's going to be Wayne Twitchell. Wayne Twitchell is going to face Ken Reitz. And Wayne Twitchell was 5-3 with a 5.23 ERA. Played in 33 games, started 2. Here's the pitch to Reitz. Runners on first and third. There's 2 outs. It's a 2-1 ball game in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch from Twitchell. That's a 7. Patient 52. A patient 52 is going to be outrange. And it's a grounder to third. Hebner across the diamond. And the side is retired. So Twitchell with 1 pitch gets the Mets out of that inning. And we go to top of the 7th. Bob Sykes still in there. Here's the pitch from Sykes. That's a 9. In play, 36. And that's popped up right side. Montanez is retired. Steve Henderson, tough 77. Sky at center field, Tony Scott. Waits and puts it away. Now it's Doug Flynn. And patient 93. Fly ball left field. Lou Brock makes the catch. And that retires the side. Ken Obergefell, the left-handed hitting second baseman. Obergefell batted .305 versus righties. He's going to lead it off. There is action in the Mets bullpen. So if Twitchell gets into any kind of trouble, he's going to get pulled quickly. Tough 78. And that's Sky to center. Lee Mazzilli under it. 1 away. Bob Sykes, and it's time for a pinch hitter now. And pinch hitter, let's see who they used. It's going to be Mumphrey. Mumphrey's going to pinch hit right now. And so it's Jerry Mumphrey versus Wayne Twitchell. Here's the pitch to Mumphrey. Mumphrey batted .345 versus righties. That's a 5 ballpark. A 93 is going to put it into the in-play range. So 1-37, it's a hit, and we roll a 62. And that's grounded to second, Flynn. 2 away. All right, we do that. New pitcher is going to be. See who's batting for the Mets. It's going to be all right. Pinch hitter, then a righty and 2 righties. So we're going to get Tom Bruno. All right, and Bob Sykes is out of there. And it's going to be Gary Templeton with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Wayne Twitchell still in there for the Mets. Here's the pitch. That's Snake Eyes. That's going to be Wheelhouse 86. Sweet outrange. Grounded to short. Taveras to his left. Throws on the run. Gets Templeton by half a step. And side retired. It's 2-1 Mets going to the top of the 8th inning. It's going to be Tom Bruno, the new pitcher for the Cards. He was 2-3 with a 4.23 ERA. He pitches in this game. Tom Bruno. Don't have him written in, so I'm going to write him in quickly. Won't take more than a second. Bruno. Short name, right? He's a right-hander. 26 years old. It's going to be Twitchell, so we're going to get a pinch hitter. And it's going to be against a righty. We're going to see Ed Kranepool. Good old veteran Ed Kranepool is going to pinch hit. Now Kranepool batted .233 versus righties. Kranepool. And that's a 5. Patient 43. Patient 43 is going to be a line drive base hit to right field. So Kranepool gets on base. He's a good base runner with a 7 run rating. Maybe not speedy, but he's savvy on the bases. I like that word. And let's double check that. Patient 43. He's got a good patient column. It's a base hit there against a righty. All right, so Kranepool's on at first. Nobody out. Joel Youngblood. Youngblood's a good bunter, but we're going to have him hit away here against Tom Bruno. That's a 7. That's in play 99. It's going to be popped up. Third baseman Reitz in foul ground. Makes the catch 1 away. Frankie Taveras now. That's 6. That's tough. A 42. A tough 42. And that is going to be hit range for Taveras. And it's a ball bloop to right field. Runners advance 1 base. So Kranepool stops at second. You got first and second now. And it's going to be Lee Mazzilli. So you have Kranepool at second, Taveras at first, and Lee Mazzilli up with 1 out here in the top of the 8th. It's a 2-1 Mets lead. And that's an 11. That's a tough 24 against a righty. He's going to be a strikeout. Mazzilli goes after the high heat and strikes out in a crucial situation. And we have Richie Hebner, so we're going to bring in a lefty to face Hebner. It's going to be McEnany. McEnany also pitches in this game. Will McEnany. And McEnany was 0-3 with a 2.95 ERA. He's going to face the lefty Richie Hebner with first and second and 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Mets are up 2-1. It would sure be good to pick up an insurance run, but I don't know that that's going to happen. That's in play. 96 in play. Versus a lefty, that's going to be lifted to right. Hendrick under it, and that retires the side. It's going to be Skip Lockwood for the Mets. New pitcher for the Mets is going to be Skip Lockwood. Lockwood also pitched in this game. Now, Lockwood's a pretty good pitcher for the Mets. He was 2-5 with a 1.49 ERA, and he's going to be facing Brock. Here's the pitch from Lockwood. That's Snake Eyes in play 0-9. And in play 0-9 is going to be lined base hit. Youngblood plays it, gets it in quickly, and now Brock is on at first. And Brock's a threat to steal. We're going to see if he goes. 5 or less. Nope. So it's going to be Keith Hernandez. Here's the pitch. And that's a 9, tough 31. A tough 31 against a righty. Oh, goodness gracious. A tough 31 happens to be, I was hoping it would be a wild pitch, but no, it's going to be a double. Look at that. In the tough range, we roll the 9, right? That's tough range. 31 is a double, so we're going to look and see. Line drive into the alley, all runners score. The game is tied. The co-MVP of 1979, Keith Hernandez, ties the game with a double here in the bottom of the 8th inning versus the Mets ace Skip Lockwood. He is the best of the best that the Mets have. And now the go-ahead run is at second base, so see what happens. We're going to walk Ted Simmons. We're going to create a situation here where we have an opportunity for a double play. So Ted Simmons bats .288 versus righties. We're going to walk him. And we're going to face George Hendrick. Here's the pitch to Hendrick with nobody out. Hendrick is an F bunter. He's not going to bunt anyway. It's a power hitter. And that's a tough 77. A tough 77 may give us what we want, that double play, but no, it's lifted to center. Mazzilli coming in shallow and makes the catch. 1 down. Now it's Tony Scott here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 2-2 ball game. Keith Hernandez, the 1979 co-MVP, doubles home Lou Brock here in the bottom of the 8th against Skip Lockwood, the Met closer. Tony Scott, he's a switch hitter. He's batting from the left side. First and second. Here's the pitch. Now Scott batted 266 versus righties. That's 5. That's patient. A patient. Oh, look at that. Patient 74. And that's going to be a fly ball lifted to center field. Mazzilli, he's there. That's 2 down. And next is Ken Reitz. Ken Reitz batted 236 versus right-handers. Here's the pitch from Lockwood. Oh boy, that's a 7 tough, 0-5. That's going to be a swing and a miss, and Reitz is down on strikes. That retires the side. So Lockwood, after basically sabotaging himself, comes right back and gets the next 3 batters in order, and keeps the Mets at 2-2 here going into the top of the 9th inning against Will McEnany. We may get a pinch. No, we got a lefty in there, so we're going to keep McEnany in. Yep, let's get McEnany in the actual lineup though, because he's not in the lineup. We're going to put him in the lineup. There he is. He's in the lineup now. All right, here's the pitch from the lefty McEnany to John Stearns. And that's a 4 in play 10. An in play versus a lefty 10 is going to be lined, base hit, drops in front of the left fielder Brock, and he gets it in. So Stearns is on with a single, and Stearns has an opportunity to run. So let's see what happens here. Up to 5 or less he goes, and that's a 6, so he does not. Now Willie Montanez, he's a lefty. Here's a pitch to Montanez. That's a 6. That's in play. 0-9 in play against a lefty. That's going to be a single. And line drive into center field. Runner on first advances to third. So first and third now. First and third. And now with the righty coming up, who hits lefties at a 395 clip, we're going to see a righty coming in now. So let's see who we got coming in here. Bring in Mark Littell. Mark Littell coming in for the Cards. Right-hander, was 9-4 with a 2.19 ERA in 63 games. So Mark Littell is trying to get the Cards out of this jam right here, right now. It's first and third, top of the 9th. It's a 2-2 game. There's nobody out. Willie Montanez is on at first, and John Stearns is on at third. Mark Littell is on the mound for the Cardinals. This is the 3rd game of a 3-game series. The Mets have won the first 2, so potentially they could sweep the Cardinals here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And Steve Henderson, the batter. Steve Henderson is 1 for 3 on the day. He singled, struck out, and flied out. So there you go. Here's the pitch from Mark Littell. Let's see if Henderson can come up big in the clutch. That's a 5. That's a patient. A 26. A patient 26. It's going to be a walk. So the bases are loaded. So Mark Littell comes in, faces Henderson, and walks him. And now it's Mr. Clutch, Doug Flynn, with the bases loaded and the infield in. So we're going to have bases loaded, infield in. There you go, bases loaded. See what happens. Here's the pitch from Mark Littell. And that's a 7. That's in play 68. So an in play 68 is going to be a ground ball second base. So now we have to roll 2-6. Runners out at first. Double play. 2-6 is double play, so we definitely don't want to roll that. 7-8, the runner on third is out at home. Batter safe. Runner advances 1 base. So 9 or 10. Are we looking for a 9 or 10, or an 11 or 12 is a reroll on a play at home chart? So let's see what happens. A 10. Ball sneaks past the drawn in infield. Batter safe. Runners advance 1 base. And Doug Flynn manages a single with the bases loaded in the drawn-in infield, and the Mets are up 3-2 here. And it looks like the fans are headed for the exits. Bases loaded, nobody out. Ed Kranepool. Well, I'm sorry, not Ed Kranepool. It's the pitcher, Who was the pitcher for the Mets? It was Skip Lockwood. So we're going to have a pinch hitter for Lockwood. So we have to write in Lockwood real quick here. So it's a 3-2, top of the ninth. Mets just scored on the drawn-in infield. Lockwood. And we're going to bring in Bruce Beauclair, the lefty. So Doug Flynn comes up big. All right, Beauclair. Greenville was the last pinch hitter. Beauclair is a new pinch hitter. We got him in. We got Littell on the mound. Nobody out. The infield is still in. Let's get that again. And here's the pitch from Mark Littell. That's a 5. That's patient 0-2. A patient 0-2 is a base on balls, and that's going to force in a run. So Littell's control is failing him. 4-2 game. Mets up. Infield's in. Youngblood. Pitch to Youngblood. That's a 10. That's patient 68. A patient 68. It's going to be outrange. That's a grounded to second. Here we go again. Deja vu all over again. So we have to roll 2d6. 2 to 6 is a double play, and we roll an 8. Runner on third is out at home. So I believe it was a 6-2. Or was it a 4-2? I can't remember what it was. Okay, 4-2. Sounds about right. So it's going to be really a fielder's choice with a force out. 4-2, force out at home. And everybody else is safe. So bases are loaded. Infield is still in. 4-2 Mets lead. Top of the ninth. 1 out. Mark Littell on the mound, facing Frank Taveras, who's 2 for 4. He's struck out, flied out, doubled and singled. Here's a pitch at Taveras. That's a 9. Patient 0-5. So base on balls. But that's going to force in another run. 5-2 Mets. So Mark Littell's control has escaped him. And it's Lee Mazzilli. Bases in, bases loaded, infield in. And that's a 9. That's patient. A 98. A patient 98 is going to be an outrange fly ball to left field. Beauclair, who's a speedy runner at 7, is going to be able to try to score on that. He's a 7, and so a 7 or less, he scores on a sacrifice fly. See what happens here. And he does, safe at home. The throw from Brock is not in time. So that's a sacrifice fly for Mazzilli. Everybody else holds up, so it's runners on first and second now. 2 outs, top of the ninth. Mets are up 6-2. They've scored 4 here in the top of the ninth inning. Richie Hebner, lefty. We're going to get a new pitcher. We've got Darryl Knowles coming in. Had enough of Littell. All right, so it's Darryl Knowles. Now, Darryl Knowles holds a very unique record for being the first reliever to ever pitch in 7 games of World Series. I think it happened in 1973. And here's the pitch from Knowles to the lefty, Hebner. And that's a 6. That's patient 69. Patient 69 versus a lefty. That's going to be outrange. That's going to be a grounded to short, and Templeton takes it himself, steps on the bag, and that retires the side. But the damage has been done. Critical damage. And the Mets are up 6-2. Mets are looking good now. And they're going to have Neil Allen coming in. Actually, we're going to have Dale Murray. Dale Murray is coming in. Hey, man, who's there? Jerry, all right. Yes, Midnight Baseball, brother. I'm right with that, right? He pitched those 7 games. Okay, so Dale Murray, we're writing him in. We're gonna put him in batting ninth. And after this, I'm going to sleep because I may play 1 in the morning. Who knows? I slept for 3 hours, and I woke up at 11:30 and got this game going. I got to get up early tomorrow for work. I'm only doing half a day tomorrow because I got a baseball game to see. My son's last varsity season as a senior. Dale Murray is going to face Ken Obergefell here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Here's the pitch. Murray is 4-8 with a 4.82 ERA. He had 4 saves in 58 games, so he does pitch for the Mets quite often. That's 10 is patient, and that's a 19, so that's going to be a base on balls. Ken Obergefell is on with a walk. Leadoff batter gets walked. Not what you want to see. So now it's Darryl Knowles, and you're going to get a pinch hitter. See if we have a lefty that can bat. Yeah, we have Mike Phillips. Mike Phillips played in this game. He pinch hit, I believe. So Phillips is a versatile guy who plays all the infield positions. So Phillips is at the plate. He's a lefty facing Dale Murray with Obergefell on at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth. The Cardinals are down 6-2, so they have a ways to go before they start threatening that lead. Here's the pitch from Murray. It's ballpark. We rolled a 69 on a lefty. It goes up to 63, so this is going to be in play. In play 86. That's going to be out range. 86 is going to be a grounder to second. A 9 is a double play there, and not a double play here, so it's going to be 4-6, fielder's choice. So 1 down, and they force Obergefell at second. Gary Templeton is up now. Phillips is on at first. Here's the pitch to Templeton with 1 out in the bottom of the ninth. 7, tough 33. Tough 33. That's going to be a strikeout. Templeton down on strikes. Curveball got him. Lou Brock with 2 outs. Lou Brock is 2 for 4. He's grounded out, singled, lined out, and then singled again. He's 2 for 4, batting from the left side versus Dale Murray with Mike Phillips on at first. There's 2 outs. It's a 6-2 Met lead. So the Cards have a way to go. 4, that's in play. An in play 39 versus a righty. In play 39 is going to be the out range. It's a ground to first. Montanez takes it himself, steps on the bag. The game is over. Mets win it. So the Mets win it by a score of 6-2, and they sweep the Cardinals here at Busch Stadium in 1979. I'll give you the line score. Mets 6 runs, 11 hits, 1 error, 7 left on base. The Cards 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 9 left on base. The victory is going to be for the Mets starter Mike Scott. And actually, you know what? No, Mike Scott was pulled early. Let's double check this real quick. Because the Mets, well, the game was tied in the bottom of the 8th, so the Mets didn't really, the game wasn't decided until the top of the 9th, so we have to take a look and see who was pitching, who was that pitcher. It was a pitcher for the Mets brought in the 8th inning, in the bottom of the 8th inning. And I believe that was Skip Lockwood. Skip Lockwood was hit pretty hard. The inning started off with a single and then a double by Hernandez, and then the game was tied. He walked intentionally. He intentionally walked, and it doesn't say intentional walk, but it should be an intentional walk there. I don't know why it's not. May have to check that. He intentionally walked Ted Simmons to put runners on first and second. Mets hoping for a double play situation. Then he got 2 flyouts and a strikeout to get out of the inning. And it was in the top of the 9th that the Mets took the lead, so it's going to be Lockwood who gets the win. Maybe undeservedly so, but he gets the win. Came in, gave up the tying run, and then ends up getting the win. And I don't think Dale Murray gets a save here. They were up 6-4. So I don't think he gets a save. But who knows? Doesn't matter to me anyway. And the loss is going to go to. I have to look at that. Who was the pitcher for the Cards? Second pitcher for the Cards was McInerney, and then it was Littell. Oh, Littell. Littell is the one that got beat up badly. And let me look at the Mets score to see who gets the loss for the. So here, Littell. It was McInerney. McInerney comes in the 8th inning, and then Littell. Let me see. What he's saying. Lockwood gets the win. Yeah. Lockwood gets the win. I'm looking to see who gets the loss. Oh, I see who gets the loss. Okay. Well, yeah, Littell got. Oh no, actually, Littell came in after. Wait a second. Let's double check that Cardinals scorebook. All right, so McInerney came in. I think McInerney gets the loss, and then Littell, and it was Knowles. So let me go back one more second. So let's look at the Mets scorebook. So it was let's see. Okay, so it's the starting pitcher all the way until McInerney comes in to face the lefty Hebner. Then McInerney starts off the next inning and allows the first 2 runners on, so McInerney's going to get the loss. That's when Littell came in to try to get the Cards out of the inning, and he just basically walked 1, 2, 3 guys. And so it's McInerney gets the loss. That's clear as day. And that's it for the game. Mets sweep in Busch Stadium. We go to Atlanta now. Let's look for Atlanta set. Chicago, San Diego, Toronto, Montreal. I did my French accent. That's my Inspector Clouseau accent. I gotta get to bed. Atlanta, here it is. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. So they're gonna play. They are gonna play the Braves with a few guys that I know and a lot of guys I don't know that well. And I'm going to say goodbye to the Cardinals. That was fun at Busch Stadium. No complaints here. Mets won 3 in a row. That's a miracle. That's, I think, the first time all year. You know, we had an 11-game losing streak at the beginning of the season. That was crazy. And so it's a lot of players here. Wow, this is a huge. I may have. Are the Mets in here too? What's going on? Oh, there they are. There you go. Okay, I pulled the Mets out of there. All right. And I'm just double checking for the pitcher hitting cards, because otherwise they disappear in the teams and I can't remember where they are, and I need the numbers and I don't get them. Can't find them. All right. So I'm gonna wrap this up All right. So that's about it. We'll set this up. Maybe not right now. Maybe so, and I'm going to take off. Thanks for stopping by, and great talking to people, and I will be back soon with more 79 Mets tomorrow. Try to finish up the 3-game set with Atlanta tomorrow, and then start on some more series over the weekend. Play as many games as I can. I want to get up to 60 games, and then I'll probably take a little mini break. But I'll have 1/3 of the season done, and then we'll look at the stats. Stats are cool. iScore's keeping all my stats for me, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to do any